Before today's FIFA World Cup matches begin, I need everyone watching this video to remember one thing. This tournament has become completely unpredictable. Portugal failed to beat DR Congo. Spain couldn't score against Cabo Verde. Belgium dropped points against Egypt. Saudi Arabia shocked Uruguay with a draw. And suddenly, everybody thought underdogs were taking over this World Cup. But then, Germany destroyed Curaçao 7-1. Canada crushed Qatar 6-0. USA dominated Paraguay 4-1. Sweden completely dismantled Tunisia 5-1. So right now, the biggest question is simple. Are the favourites finally taking control of this tournament, or are we about to see more chaos again? I've gone through every single match result so far, studied every team's momentum, and here's exactly how I think today unfolds. First match, Curaçao against Ivory Coast. And honestly, this might already be the easiest prediction of the day. Curaçao enters this match after suffering the worst defeat of the tournament so far. They lost 7-1 against Germany, and the worrying part wasn't just the scoreline, it was the defensive collapse. They looked overwhelmed almost the entire game. Positioning broke apart. Midfield couldn't hold possession, and physically, they simply couldn't keep up. Now on the other side, Ivory Coast quietly beat Ecuador 1-0, and that score doesn't tell the full story. They played disciplined football, stayed compact, controlled tempo, and looked extremely comfortable defensively. So comparing both performances, the gap looks massive. Curaçao already looks like one of the weakest sides in this tournament, and I don't think that changes here. My prediction, Ivory Coast wins comfortably. 2-0. Now this is one of the biggest games today. Ecuador against Germany, and Germany right now looks terrifying. They scored 7 against Curaçao. That is still the most dominant attacking performance we've seen in this World Cup. They moved the ball quickly, created chances constantly, and looked incredibly clinical in front of goal. But I'm not ignoring Ecuador. Yes, they lost 1-0 against Ivory Coast, but defensively, they impressed me. They stayed organised. They rarely gave away easy chances. And tournament football rewards discipline. Now, normally after scoring 7 goals, everyone automatically picks Germany comfortably. But this World Cup has already punished overconfidence. Portugal drew Congo. Belgium dropped points. Spain dropped points. So I think Ecuador makes this far harder than people expect. But overall, no team looks sharper than Germany right now. My prediction, Germany wins. But Ecuador scores. Final score, Germany 3. Ecuador 1. Next, Tunisia against Netherlands. And this game is actually very interesting. Tunisia suffered badly against Sweden. They lost 5-1. And defensively, they looked very uncomfortable under pressure. But Netherlands also worries me. They drew 2-2 against Japan, and their defense gave away far too much space. So neither team enters this match looking perfect. But player quality still matters. Netherlands has superior midfield control, better creativity, better experience in tournament football, and Tunisia now comes in low on confidence. I expect Tunisia to defend deep, slow the tempo, and try avoiding another heavy defeat. But Netherlands should control possession for most of the match. My prediction, Netherlands wins. 2-0. This could quietly become the best match of today. Japan against Sweden. And honestly, this one is very difficult. Japan surprised me. They held Netherlands to a 2-2 draw. Their passing looked sharp. They pressed aggressively. And technically, they looked excellent. But Sweden looked absolutely incredible. They destroyed Tunisia 5-1. And physically, they dominated almost every duel. They looked powerful, confident, and dangerous every time they attacked. So now the question becomes, Japan's technical football or Sweden's physical dominance? I think Japan controls possession, but Sweden creates bigger chances. This feels extremely balanced. My prediction, a draw, 1-1. Now quickly looking at the final 2 games, Türkiye against USA. USA looked excellent. They crushed Paraguay 4-1. Fast transitions, clinical finishing, and real confidence. Meanwhile, Türkiye lost 2-0 against Australia and never looked dangerous. My prediction, USA wins 2-1. Final match, Paraguay against Australia. Paraguay was dominated badly by USA. Confidence should be low, but Australia looked organised, beating Türkiye 2-0. Very disciplined football, and right now, they simply look more prepared. My prediction, Australia wins 1-0. My final predictions, Ivory Coast 2-0, Curaçao, Germany 3-1, Ecuador, Netherlands 2-0, Tunisia, Japan 1-1, Sweden, USA 2-1, Türkiye, Australia 1-0, Pascal's Uruguay. After everything we've seen in FIFA World Cup 2026, one thing is clear, no favourite is ever completely safe.